She knows Earth. Tyler locked the door behind them and turned to face the girl who now sat on the edge of the bed, silently holding his jacket around herself like it was armor. Her wrists bore faint red rings from the shackles and her ankles trembled from exhaustion, but her eyes were alert, sharper than he expected. She was watching everything, every movement, every flicker of light, as if it might turn into a threat. He moved slowly, speaking softly, though he wasn't sure why. Maybe it was the way she had said that one word back in the corridor. The way her voice cut through the static of fear like it carried meaning beyond itself. Run. That word still echoed in his head. He crouched in front of her, offering a bottle of water which she accepted carefully, as if she expected it to vanish the moment she reached for it. To speak English, he asked gently. Her grip on the bottle tightened, and she hesitated before replying. Not from books, from the others. What others? He asked. There were humans here before you, she said, almost mechanically. Her voice had a strange rhythm, like she was recalling a script buried deep in her mind. They came before they were taken, like me. Some tried to escape. They taught us words and stories and fear of your kind and hope to. She paused, watching his reaction. Taken, he repeated. His stomach dropped. Who took them? She looked toward the ceiling as if expecting it to open and swallow her. The ones who call themselves keepers. They collect the broken and the lost and the disobedient. She glanced at the collar, now lying on the table next to her trembling hands. That is how they marked you. Sheth ran a hand down his face, trying to stay calm. This station, this place he had trusted, wasn't just some neutral ground of diplomacy. There was a system here, darker than politics and treaties. What's your name? He asked. I don't know, she whispered. They took it, but the others called me Ilara. He nodded quietly. Ilara. It sounded human and alien all at once. He liked it when I gave you the jacket. Why did you say run? He asked. Because they were watching, she said simply. Because they thought I would react badly. They didn't expect me to remember, but I did. The jacket made me feel something that belonged to me, something that said I wasn't theirs anymore. Tiller sat down slowly, trying to connect the dots. The others taught her English. She remembers Earth things. She reacts emotionally to clothing, not because of modesty, but because it symbolized dignity. Alara turned toward him. You are not like them. You looked at me like I was a person, not a thing. They don't understand why you did that before he could respond. She winced and gripped the sides of her head. Her body shuddered as if something inside her was pulling itself free. Her skin flushed a strange color and her breath quickened. What's wrong? He rushed to her side. She collapsed against him, barely conscious. Her lips moved. She was whispering something over and over. He leaned closer, trying to make out the words. Project Eden has been compromised, she said. Then her body stiffened like she was being electrocuted from within, and her eyes rolled. Bactila caught her before she fell completely. He laid her on the bed, heart pounding. What the hell was Project Eden's? Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. The interface screen by the wall blinked, and lines of unreadable alien code ran across it before vanishing. Tyler looked back at Ilara. Her breathing was returning to normal, but she was unconscious, or sleeping, or both. Something had triggered a memory or a buried program. He moved quickly to his terminal and started searching the phrase Project Eden, but the station network returned nothing, not even a whisper, not in the shared logs, not in military records, not in Earth's diplomatic files. That meant one of two things. Either it didn't exist, or it was buried so deep even diplomats weren't meant to know. He looked back at Ilara. She wasn't just a runaway or a slave. She was part of something bigger. Something dangerous, something The jacket she still clutched had slipped halfway off her shoulder, and for the first time he noticed the faint lines on her skin glowing faintly beneath the surface. Not tattoos, not scars, but something etched like circuitry. Her body wasn't just enhanced, it was hiding something. Tyler sat in the chair beside her, mind racing. Who were the others? What did they teach her? What was Project Eden, and how was she tied to Ith? Didn't have answers, but he knew one thing: someone would come looking for her, and not to help. He had to decide whether to protect her or turn her in before it was too late. She stirred again, and her eyes opened, but this time they weren't filled with fear. They were focused, determined, ancient. She looked at him and said quietly, I think I was made to forget. But now I remember everything, and they're going to kill us both if we stay here. Leaned forward. Tell me everything. You remember? She nodded. I will, but we have to move first. I need to show you something, and I need you to trust me, even if it doesn't make sense. Tyler stood, grabbed a small scanner and a toolkit, and helped her to her feet. Lead the way, he said. They stepped into the dark hallway. Ilara's voice was calm. "The map is inside me, and the truth is older than this station." Behind them, the terminal screen blinked one last time, displaying a single word in bold red letters before shutting off. "Eden buried." Truths. Tyler followed Ilara through the winding corridors of the station. Their steps echoed softly on the cold metal floor as she moved with surprising confidence. Despite her recent ordeal, she clutched his arm, briefly pointing toward a sealed door marked with symbols he didn't recognize. This place was off limits for most crew members, and the look in her eyes told him this was where the answers waited. She used a small device from her pocket, pressing it against the door, and the lock hissed open, revealing a dimly lit archive room stacked with data crystals and holographic projectors. Tyler stepped inside, feeling the weight of silence pressing down on him. The air smelled faintly of ozone and old metal, and for a moment he wondered how much history was hidden here. Away from prying eyes, Ilara moved to a console, running her fingers across the controls as if she remembered exactly how to navigate the system. Tyler watched as lines of alien script transformed into maps, star charts, and logs. The screen flickered, showing dates and names, but many were scratched out or encrypted. He leaned closer, trying to catch details. The system was ancient and poorly maintained, but still held secrets. "Project Eden isn't just a code name," Ilara said, her voice low. "It was a program, a mission started by Earth decades ago. But covered up. You have to understand, the humans who sent it believed in peace through power, but it wasn't what they expected." Tyler frowned. "Peace through power? What do you mean?" "They tried to create something new, hybrids between human and alien DNA," she said. "Beings who could survive in space without needing technology. Beings who could communicate with multiple species and bring understanding. But the experiment went wrong, or maybe it went to right. The hybrids became too independent, too aware. Some say they rebelled against their creators. Others say they were hunted down before they could be free." Tyler swallowed hard. "And you think you are one of them?" Ilara nodded slowly. "My memories were erased, but fragments remain buried in my DNA and the implants. They wanted to control us, keep us as weapons or tools, but I escaped before they could fully contain me." He paced the room. "Why hide all this from the public? Why cover it up?" "Fear," she said. "Simply fear of what humans might do with this knowledge, and fear of the aliens who benefited from the silence. They want to keep us divided and confused, so that truth never breaks the surface." Tyler's mind raced. He thought about VAR, Zach, the alien who gave him Ilara, the way the diplomats avoided certain questions, the uneasy glances of the station guards. It all fit into a puzzle larger than either of them had imagined. Ilara pulled up a star map, highlighting routes between distant systems. "These are the paths taken by the original Eden crews before they vanished. Some crashed here, some never returned. The governments pretended they lost contact, but the aliens kept watching." Tyler studied the map, feeling a chill. So those stories about lost ships and missing colonies weren't just rumors. "No," she said, "they were warnings disguised as myths." Suddenly, the archive room door slid open, and two security officers stepped in. Their eyes locked on Ilara. "Immediately, you have no clearance for this sector," one barked. Tyler stepped in front of her. "She's with me." The guards exchanged looks. Varzak orders her return. "She has stolen property." Ilara's eyes flashed. "If they take me back, they will erase everything again," she said fiercely. Tyler grabbed her hand. "We won't let that happen." The officers moved forward, but before they could reach them, the alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights pulsed, and a deep voice announced lockdown protocols. Chaos erupted in the corridors outside as people hurried past on their way to safety or confrontational. Dragged Tyler toward a ventilation shaft. "We have to move now, or they'll trap us." He followed her without hesitation, crawling into the narrow passage, feeling the cold metal against his skin and the sound of his own heartbeat pounding in his ears. They moved deeper into the ducts. Ilara spoke quietly. "They believe the hybrids threaten the balance of power. They fear what we represent." Tyler swallowed, trying to keep pace. "But you're not a weapon. You're more human than any of them." She smiled faintly. "That is why I have to survive." Emerging in a service bay far from the main security zones, they found a small shuttle docked, and apparently unguarded. Lara keyed the access panel, and the hatch slid open with a hiss. She pulled Tyler inside and sealed the door behind them. The cabin was cramped, but functional screens flickered on, displaying star charts and system. Hyperspace jump ended, and the stars snapped back into place around Tyler and Ilara. The sudden calm was a fragile silence before the storm. Outside the viewport, distant enemy ships glimmered like ominous shadows, closing in fast, their sleek designs betrayed ruthless intent. They weren't here for negotiations or diplomacy, but for capture or worse. Lara gripped the console, her fingers moving swiftly over the controls. She was more than just a survivor now. She was a fugitive with a mission, and a secret buried deep inside her DNA. The hidden encryption keys she carried were more valuable than any cargo Tyler had ever heard of, but he also saw the exhaustion etched on her face from running from enemies. She barely understood herself, leaned back in his seat, struggling to keep his thoughts clear. The weight of responsibility pressed down hard on him. He had gone from a simple human caught in alien politics to protector and partner in a fight that spanned star systems and generations. The questions that haunted him were relentless. Who was Alara really? What did Project Eden intend to create? And why was the truth buried so deeply? Alara glanced at him briefly, her eyes sharp with urgency. We can't stay here long. They will track this signal soon. I have to access my full memory, but the process is risky. It could overload my system or worse. Tyler nodded without hesitation. Do what you have to. I'm with you. She connected a small device to her temple and closed her eyes. Concentration rippled across her features as data streamed into her mind. Like a floodgate opening, memories once locked away burst forth. Images of lab chambers glowing with sterile light, scientists arguing quietly then screaming confusion and fear, alien faces blurry but filled with pain and determination. Her breathing quickened. The hybrid program wasn't just science. It was a desperate gamble to unite species, but it failed because they underestimated us, because they feared what we could become. Tyler listened carefully. And now they want to erase you before you reveal the truth. Yes, she whispered. The Keepers, the alien elites, and even some human factions, they all want control of the hybrid's power. To shape the future their way. The shuttle's sensors beeped urgently, signaling incoming ships. Closing faster, Tyler stared at the radar. They're here. Alara activated defensive systems, causing the shuttle to emit a low hum and flash a protective shield around the hull. We have one chance. I'm going to try a stealth jump to a nearby uncharted system. It's risky, but it might give us time. Tyler braced himself as the ship jolted again, and the stars twisted into streaks of light. This jump was unlike any he had experienced. The darkness between stars felt thicker, heavier, as if space itself was resisting their escape. They emerged. The view was eerie. Silence dominated the void except for a faint glow from a distant nebula. The system was unmarked on most charts, forgotten or deliberately erased. Alara let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. We're safe for now, but this place holds secrets too. They landed on a small rocky planet, its surface barren but dotted with strange structures, partially buried beneath layers of dust and stone. Tyler stared in awe at the remnants of an ancient civilization far older than any history books mentioned. Laura guided him toward a structure half collapsed, but still intact. Inside, they found a chamber filled with holographic records and devices covered in layers of dust, but surprisingly operational. She connected her device to one console and started downloading data with fervor. This was a research outpost for the original Eden crews, a place where they tried to unlock the genetic codes and hidden knowledge before they disappeared. Tyler sifted through the records, discovering logs of peaceful encounters, sabotage, acts of betrayal, and desperate attempts to protect the hybrids from becoming tools of war. The story was far more complex than he imagined. Suddenly, the chamber's alarms blared, signaling an incoming transmission. Tyler froze. Is it them? Alara shook her head. No, it's a message from an old contact of yours, someone who still believes in truth and justice. Tyler's heart skipped a beat. How do you know about my contacts? She smiled faintly. I learned fast. The message played on a flickering hologram, revealing a familiar face, a grizzled veteran of the Terran Navy. Tyler, if you're seeing this, you've gone deeper than anyone expected. Listen carefully. The government wants you to hand her over, but don't trust anyone. They have reasons to keep Eden secret, and they will stop at nothing to silence you. Both of you. There is a safe haven in the outer colonies, but getting there won't be easy. Tyler's mind reeled. The reality of betrayal and conspiracy stretched far beyond the alien stash. Looked at him. We have allies, but also enemies everywhere. We must be smart. Tyler took a deep breath. What do we do now? She paused, then said, we fight, we expose, we survive. Their fragile alliance was no longer just about escape. It was about uncovering the truth, hidden for decades, about humanity's forgotten past, and a future that might depend on a girl they both barely understood yet. Deeply trusted outside the ancient outpost, the stars shone cold and distant, but inside the Chamber hope burned brighter than ever. Suddenly the ground trembled faintly and dust fell from the ceiling. The station was not as abandoned as it seemed. Something ancient and powerful was awakening beneath the surface tile. Grabbed Ilara's hand. "We're not alone." Her eyes shone with determination. "Then let them come." They prepared to face whatever lay ahead, knowing the path was dangerous, but the truth was worth the risk. The Forgotten War. Tyler and Ilara emerged from the ancient outpost under a sky streaked with unfamiliar stars. The air was thin and cold, but the sense of urgency hung heavier than the atmosphere. They had uncovered fragments of a forgotten history, but the real battle was still ahead somewhere beyond. The Horizon's secrets waited to be revealed, and alliances tested the encrypted message from Tyler's contact. Echoed in his mind's safe haven outer colony's betrayals, and a warning that shook the foundation of everything he thought he knew. And the alien governments had hidden a war, not fought with weapons but with lies and silence, a war that had shaped the future in Shadow's era. Adjusted the ship's coordinates toward the outer colonies. Her hands moved confidently across the controls, but Tyler sensed the weight of her past pressing down harder than ever. "Tell me more about this war," he urged. "What really happened with Project Eden?" She stared out the viewport. It started decades ago, when humanity first made contact with other species, not officially but in secret. Scientists and diplomats tried to bridge the divide by creating hybrids, beings designed to unify, but instead became pawns in a game of power and fear. Tyler's heart quickened. Pawns. Both sides feared the hybrid's potential, Ilara explained. Earth governments worried they would lose control over their creations, while alien elites saw them as threats to their dominance. The hybrids were hunted, betrayed, and hidden away. Tyler clenched his fists. "So you're saying there was a war that no one talks about?" Ilara nodded. "A war fought in silence, a war where families were torn apart and entire colonies vanished. The hybrids were either erased or scattered, their existence rewritten from history." The shuttle hummed softly as it cut through space, carrying them closer to truth, but also danger. Tyler felt a mix of awe and dread. "And you are one of the last survivors?" "Yes," she said, "and possibly the key to ending this cycle." Suddenly the comm system crackled with static, followed by a harsh voice. "This is Admiral Rancic of the Terran Fleet. You are ordered to surrender. Ilara and all classified materials immediately. Resistance will be met with force." Tyler exchanged a glance with Ilara. Her expression hardened. "There, here sooner than expected." He tightened his grip on the controls. "We won't go down without a fight." Ilara reached into a compartment, pulling out a small device, pulsing with blue light. "This is the key to unlocking the hybrids. Full potential, but it's dangerous if used wrongly. It could cause chaos or salvation." Tyler swallowed hard. "Then we have to be careful." The Admiral's voice cut through. "Again, you have 1 minute to comply." Ilara tapped the device on the console and data streams flooded the ship, activating dormant systems. Tyler watched as the ship's power surged and weapons systems hummed to life. The little shuttle was no longer just a vessel but a weapon and a sanctuary. The fleet closed in faster, their ships massive and imposing. Tyler's fingers danced across the controls, weaving evasive maneuvers. Through asteroid fields and debris clouds their ship shuddered under fire, but the shields held. Ilara looked at Tyler. "There's more at stake than just our lives. The truth we carry can reshape alliances and bring peace or ignite war." Tyler nodded. "Then we have to be the ones to decide." As the battle intensified, Ilara connected the device to her own system. Her body glowed faintly and her senses sharpened beyond human limits. Tyler watched in awe as she moved with lightning speed, defending the ship and hacking enemy systems, opening a path through the blockade. They broke free into open space, but the cost was high. The shuttle sustained damage and energy reserves dwindled. Ilara collapsed into her seat, breathing heavily. "I can't keep this up much longer." Tyler steadied the ship, setting course for the nearest colony. "Hold on, we're almost there." As they approached the colony's orbital station, Tyler contacted the old veteran again, hoping for support, but the response chilled him. "Tyler, this isn't just a safe haven anymore. It's under siege by factions loyal to the old regime. We're all running out of time." The shuttle docked under heavy guard, and Tyler carried Ilara inside. The colony was a labyrinth of tension and fear. People whispered about the hybrids in hushed tones and watched them with voice was steady despite the danger. "We must find the council and present the data before it's too late." They navigated through corridors filled with armed guards and wary civilians, finally reaching the council chamber where representatives from human and alien governments, sat in uneasy silence. Tyler stepped forward. The truth about Project Eden has been hidden for too long. It's time to end the lies and face what we are together. Ilara held up the device, projecting holographic evidence of the hybrid program's secret meetings and suppressed rebellions. The room fell silent as shock and disbelief rippled through the council members. One alien delegate rose angrily. "This information threatens the fragile peace we've built. You risk reigniting a war that could destroy us all." Ilara's eyes burned with conviction. "Peace built on lies is no peace at all. We have a chance to choose a new path," Tyler added. "We can either continue hiding in fear or embrace a future where trust and understanding guide us." Tensions flared, but before the council could respond, alarms blared again, signaling an attack. The factions opposed to change had sent reinforcements. Tyler and Ilara prepared to defend the truth they carried, knowing the fight was far from over, but believing that for the first time since Eden began, there was hope. As gunfire echoed through the corridors, Ilara whispered, "I know what I was made for, but now I choose who I become." Tyler nodded, "And I choose to stand with you." The battle for the future had begun, and the fate of many rested on a girl who was more human than anyone could imagine. Her choice. The battle raged through the colony's corridors, flashing lights and distant shouts echoing off cold metal walls. Tyler and Ilara moved side by side, their breaths steady despite the chaos. Around them, factions clashed, old fears and new hopes colliding in a storm that could change everything. Ilara's body hummed softly, glowing with a light that was both alien and familiar. Her DNA had unlocked secrets not meant for ordinary beings, and now that power was waking. She glanced at Tyler, determination fierce in her eyes. "We have to reach the ancient beacon," she said. "It holds the key to broadcasting the truth galaxy-wide." Tyler nodded, and together they navigated through the maze of passageways, heading deeper into the colony's heart, their path blocked by guards loyal to the old regime, who saw Ilara as a threat, and Tyler as a traitor. Each step brought them closer to a chamber filled with relics of the first Eden mission, relics lost to time and lies. Within the chamber, a pedestal pulsed with energy, an ancient transmitter waiting for the right signal. Approached the console connecting the device she had carried for so long. Its power surged through her, awakening memories, flooding her mind with images of peace plans and betrayal, broken promises and sacrifices made in silence. Style watched as she uploaded her memories into the beacon. The holographic interface burst alive with light, sending waves of data rippling across space and time. The hidden truths of Project Eden spilled forth, revealing decades of cover-ups and the hope for unity between species. As the message broadcasted across the galaxy, reactions poured in like a tidal wave. Governments scrambled to respond, citizens awoke to stories erased from history, and whispers of a new era began to spread. But with revelation came backlash. Dark forces that thrived on division mobilized, swiftly determined to snuff out the light. Ilara's final act was a gamble, a beacon of truth that would either spark revolution or destruction. Haller felt a hand grip his shoulder and turned to see the colony's council arriving. Some faces betrayed relief, others suspicion, but none could deny the change that had begun. "We will protect what she started," the lead delegate declared. "The truth cannot be buried again." But as the crowd parted, Tyler noticed Ilara was gone. Her presence faded like a ghost, leaving behind only the echo of hope and courage. He stood alone in the chamber, feeling the weight of what they had unleashed. The galaxy was awakening, and the choice lay with every soul to decide the future. Days later, Tyler was brought before Earth authorities. The evidence broadcasted by Ilara forced a reckoning not just on alien politics but on humanity's own past. His arrest was symbolic, a reminder of the cost of truth, but he was treated with respect. Due to the public outcry and confinement, he reflected on everything: the lost years, the hidden wars, the hybrids, and the girl who changed everything. He wondered if Ilara was watching, if somewhere out there she was still fighting for the future they dreamed of. Then strange transmissions began reaching children across planets. Stories of unity, freedom, and empathy flowed through systems signed only with one word. Ilara smiled quietly, knowing her legacy lived on, not in weapons or power, but in the hearts of those ready to believe in something greater. Sometimes the most human soul, he thought, isn't human at all.